kind of
indeed.
problems.
That's right.
So that the black men say, in order for me to be a man, you walk 10 paces behind me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
it means nothing. I can walk 10 paces behind a dog. It means nothing to me. But if that's what he needs, I'll never get far enough behind him for him to be a man. You know what I mean?
Look,
I'll never walk that slowly.
look.
Now look at how she ate that. I don't think Giovanni is calling men dogs here, but instead is saying that the patriarchy is lawless. And more than anything, it's not women's fault that it's lawless. Patriarchy wants us to believe that gender and sex are inseparable because that makes us believe that hierarchy, violence, and oppression are normal, that we are born to do this. It makes us believe that men are excusable in using women's lives, interests, and bodies as targets to blow off steam. Giovanni highlights that it's not about who rules per se, dog or man. It's the entire notion of ruling itself that's wrong. The system of patriarchy is our issue. And maybe we don't have to be romantic about it, as Baldwin says, but we do have to be so fucking for real at least. Because the pressure is getting worse. More than this, Nikki highlights how insatiable the patriarchy is. When she says, I'll never get far enough behind him for him to be a man, she's explaining how exhausting the system is. No matter how much effort you put in, how much you try to meet the goals of the patriarchy, you'll come up short every time. No one on earth can walk that slowly, she says. Matt Rife's actions are wrong. Undeniably, irrevocably, horrifically wrong. It's impossible to talk about patriarchal oppression of men without also talking about how they take their frustration and insecurity out unjustly on others. Men everywhere are feeling confused and scared about their position in the patriarchy. They look to other men to assuage these fears, to reaffirm their identity. Some men, particularly on the far right, argue that these feelings stem from the ills of feminism and wokeness. In reality, men are sleeping with the enemy. Or more likely, they're chained to the bed against their will, forced to be wed to a predatory system. Being online has taught me that when the fear of gender inadequacy rears its head, people become more vulnerable to propaganda. They fall down pipelines and rabbit holes, and oftentimes we lose them, briefly or entirely, to violent conservatism.
Hello, everyone. I had the opportunity today to welcome and speak with one of the world's most outstanding current comedians. Young guy, 28 years old, Matt Rife, who's exploded onto the comedy scene in the last few years.
Men are still in crisis. They're exploited and harmed by the patriarchy. Perceiving that they have nowhere else to go, large numbers of men are joining conservative circles to find the cure. Matt Rife is not the first, and he will not be the last. Let's look closer. It's hot as balls, hot as balls.
What's up, weirdos? It feels so good to be right. Matt Rife, if you don't know him, is a stand-up comedian who is known for just being just a handsome-looking guy. And for some reason, he takes a lot of offense to that because even though he got a lot of success off of TikTok, a lot of followers, a lot of views on his YouTube specials, he doesn't care because most of his support has come from women and people who are attracted to him and don't actually care about his comedy. Or even women and people who are attracted to him who do care about his comedy. But the thing is, if you're gay or a woman, he doesn't seem to like really respect you. And nobody knew that until he released his latest special, which just immediately pushes away everybody who's ever supported him. And if I'm being honest, it just feels so good. So I'm gonna show you like the history, the lore, everything, so we can talk about the fall of Matt Rife. Because when I say this man is on the lower end of the brain cell count, I really mean it, because what he did is one of the stupidest career moves I've ever seen. Like, as far as just business-wise, you're an idiot, whatever.
I'm good looking.
don't like it any more than you guys do, okay? This is not good for comedy, okay?
This is who we're working with right here. This is his comedy that he got so popular and successful for. And you might hear a lot of people saying, oh, but come on, you can't say that he was never funny just because he said something stupid now. I have never found him funny. Also, I just have a general thing with stand-up comedy where I don't like it, specifically his type. He blew up by posting a lot of crowd work on TikTok where he's just like, hey, what's going on with you? Oh, what's your last name? Hope? What are you married to P? Like, that's the type of stuff that he was doing in general, but he was doing his face like this the whole time. And the thing is, I just don't find it funny. Even a good stand-up comedian, if I'm sitting in a crowd and you're standing up there on the stage going, hey, I'm like, you're trying to make me laugh right now. You literally thought of all this ahead of time and you're just trying to make me laugh. You think you can look at me and say, hey, what do you do for work, pal? And then make a quick little 5-second joke to make me look like an idiot in front of everybody? I don't think so, pal. Like, I'm kind of joking, but I actually really don't like it. So when he would pop up on my For You page and it's a video like this, where his joke is, I'm so good looking. I don't like it either. And he's doing the faces the whole time. Like, you can tell he's doing this the whole time. And if I'm being honest, shut up. Like, you're not even that good. He's good looking, who cares? But the point is, that's all he was known for. He's not like a groundbreakingly good stand-up comedian. He just talks about how he's handsome. And then people are like, oh my God, he's so self-aware about it. It's so funny. God, okay, let's keep going.
And it's so weird for me. My looks are so confusing to me because you guys haven't known me my entire life, so you have no context of this, but this shit just happened.
This is on a clip of Best of Matt Rife. This is a Best of Matt Rife clip. And the joke is, this? I know everybody's thinking about it. This is crazy. Anybody else freaking out about this right now? Actually, bro, no. I came here to laugh. I didn't come here to look at somebody saying, I'm handsome, and I know it. If I wanted to do that, I'd go to a fashion walk show, fashion runway show, walk, fashion. If Noah Beck was there, I would, listen, Noah Beck on a runway, I'd sit my white ass down and watch. Matt Rife standing on stage telling jokes about how this is crazy and I know everybody's freaking out about it. It's just not funny. But to say that he has turned these viral TikToks into a successful comedy career would be an understatement. Like, he's posted full specials. Look at that, 10 million views. Walking red flag. Another one, 17 million views. Another one, 11 million views. 12 days ago, 1.6 million views on Jimmy Fallon. God dang it, Colleen, get off! Get off, Colleen. I can't. Loving the bob though, girl. Where'd you get it? The groomer.
It's so funny.
Anyways, let's look at this loser. See what I did there? Because he just got a Netflix comedy special, and this is how he opened it up. Again, his entire career is based off of people thinking that he's handsome and following him exclusively for that. And then being like, no, I also think he's funny, but it's just because he's handsome. I've talked to my brother about Matt Rife. My brother has been like, have you seen Matt Rife? I think he's so cute. And I'm like, shut up! I don't care if he's cute. He's a stand-up. I hate him. And listen, you can be a stand-up comedian, and I can love you, but you just gotta understand, anyways, here it is.
I ate lunch there and the hostess.
He's talking about going to eat lunch at a restaurant, and the hostess is like saying, oh, hello, where would you like to sit? You know, that type of thing.
The hostess who like seats you at the restaurant had a black eye. A full black eye. It wasn't like, what happened? It was pretty obvious what happened.
So that is what we call in the stand-up world a premise setup, a setup premise. Is it a premise or a setup? It's the same thing, John. John, it's the same fucking thing. I'm talking to Mulaney out there. By the way, John Mulaney watches all of my videos, and he's been a subscriber since, I think, 200,000. It's really cool. When he said black eye, so that's a departure from his general jokes, where it sounds like when he would say black guy, because people have criticized him for telling racist jokes before. Yeah, that's what we call two birds with one stone, baby. But let's keep going. Shut up!
And my boy who I was with was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face, you know?
Okay, that's the middle of the joke. Matt Rife, by the way, stand-up legend. He'll hit you with the premise. He'll extend it. He'll build a little vamp. Okay, there's something that we're working with here about putting her in the kitchen away from, people's attention. But how are you gonna land this joke?
And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
Oh, that's how you're gonna land it. Oh, to your, by the way, very largely majority female audience. Right. That's how we're gonna open up the Netflix special. Right. But it's comedy, so maybe he's gonna say like, no, I mean, first, whatever. But let me just show you the last thing that he says for this little bit.
Testing the water, seeing if y'all are gonna be fun or not.
testing the water, seeing if y'all are gonna be fun or not. Now, here's the thing. In the world of stand-up comedy, that's not that crazy of a joke. Like, that's for real not that insane. But when you consider the fact that, oh, his entire audience is comprised of a very large majority women, it kind of puts into context what he's doing here, where this is a very intentional thing. To put this at the beginning, like, a comedy special is written, like, he plans this whole thing out. Specifically, I guess, to let the audience know, hey, this isn't for the girls. I know y'all know me for being handsome, and that's why I have everything that I have, but the only people that actually care about that, let's alienate all of them. And by the way, my question is, for what purpose? So that the people who actively think that you're unfunny and annoying are the only people that can like your comedy? That's why I'm saying that this is a fall. Because the situation is, I'm sure that he's gonna have some wonderful career with middle-aged women in middle America who think that, you know, edgy comedy is so funny and he's so cute. Like, I'm sure that's gonna be his career. And I am sure he's gonna have some success. Listen, when you're a white boy who's got the sauce and you're already at this level, it's very hard to go completely to nothing. So I'm not saying that that's what's gonna happen, but I am saying that this one decision that he's made, this one stupid decision, is going to limit what he could have done forever. Bro had Hank Green saying that he thinks he's funny and he really likes him. Hank Green! And you know what Hank Green said after this? A comedian ruining his relationship with a large portion of his fan base because he wanted to be like all the other boring ass Netflix special "you can't tell jokes anymore" crowd is actually just depressing. Yeah, it's very depressing. It's very lame. And then Hank said later in the thread, I texted a friend this morning, that not the kind of comic I thought he was. A lot of people saying he was never funny, but that's wrong? I mean, it's wrong to me. The thing is, Hank Green, as far as I am aware of, came out as bi later in his life. And here's the thing. To the best of my knowledge, this was not public like information until, you know, the past like couple years that Hank Green is bi. And by the way, if I'm breaking the news to you right now, everybody stand up and clap. Everybody salute bisexual Hank Green. We love you. By the way, his entire series on the microcosmos, it's phenomenal. It's really, really interesting. I love Hank Green. But the thing is, a young middle-aged man, by the way, a young and a strapping middle-aged man at that, Hank Green, and a powerful one who can overcome anything, including cancer. But a middle-aged man nonetheless, coming out and being openly bisexual online, I think that that is a perfect recipe to fall into the traps of a white boy who's got sauce. And I'm sorry, listen, I'm sorry. Matt Rife is a lot like Zack Snyder's Superman. You can't tell if it's fascism or just bisexuality for the interest. I think that in Matt Rife's case, it's more of the bisexuality. Anyways, this is a tweet where Hank Green is talking about being bi and not being attracted to Ryan Reynolds, which I think is interesting. By the way, quick side note, everybody's always like, every straight guy's attracted to Ryan Reynolds. Cause he's handsome. Like, what do you, like, okay, he's charismatic, he's charming, he's self-deprecating, and he's actually handsome, and he's actually jacked, and he can sing, and he can dance, and he's smart, like, makes great business decisions, and he's married to a beautiful, talented woman named Blake Lively. Don't know why I had that struggle right there. And he's nurturing. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Quick search up of Matt Rife's name on any social media platform, you will see hundreds and hundreds of people commenting, posting about how much they don't like him anymore, how they'll never support him anymore, and those posts getting thousands and thousands of likes and shares and retweets. Like, it's a real thing that he's kind of really seriously messed up. The joke on its own, like, I could see a world where that doesn't ruin your entire career, but in the context of how he's built his entire fan base and who his fan base is comprised of, it's just like a really stupid thing to have done. And also, you know, the joke is the joke. Like, it's a bad, like, don't say that, dumbass. But you might think, hey, Matt Rife is probably seeing all this and thinking, hey, I should probably chill out. I should probably apologize for that and say, oh no, I was trying to set the watch tone. Like, you'd expect a notes app on the Instagram story at minimum. So I went and looked at his Instagram story, and instead what I found was this. If you've ever been offended by a joke I've told, here's a link to my official apology. Oh, okay, well, at least he's doing that. And then you click the link and it takes you to, oh, special needs helmets. Let's double down. Yeah. This way, the fans that were defending you for that joke can also see this and go, nah, he really is a piece of S. H-I-T, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking poop, girl. Here's the situation. You have, on the one hand, incels who hate Matt Rife because women used to think that he was so handsome. But now you've got women hating him. So you've got incels and women, and then also people who like stand-up comedy because he's not actually that funny. He just skated by on his good looks, which he was insecure about. But when your jokes are, this is a little crazy, no? I'm so good looking, no? Stand-up comedy lovers aren't actually gonna really find that so funny. Also, by the way, he did say that his comedy inspirations were Dave Chappelle and Dane Cook. So Let that cook in your mind for a second. Anyways, incels, women who can be swayed by beauty. By the way, a lot of women are saying that they never found him handsome anymore, which is fine, whatever. People are saying they didn't find him funny either. But anyways, let me get the freaking list out. Okay, incels, stand-up comedy lovers, women and Hank Green who are swayed by attraction to him. And then also the entire black community, which I hate to tell you that the black community does not stand with Matt Rife. Now, who am I? Who am I to say that? Well, I'm just reading all the tweets, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I understand, because he came from Wild 'N Out, where he was the white boy with the sauce. Shut up! He still carries a little bit of a black scent with him, but people say that it's just from where he's from. But anyways, Matt Rife, before all the filler, looked like this, and he did this on Wild 'N Out. As far as I can tell, the impetus for why the black community does not like him. And now that this is getting like more traction, by the way, this is a very big clip. It's got 26 million views, so this is apparently well known. But if you haven't seen it, to refresh your memory, Matt Rife before the filler talking to Zendaya.
Spit that water out so I can get your number, please.
Yeah, he thought that he was so charming and so handsome and that he had the sauce to the point that he could go up and unprompted grab Zendaya's face like this. Do you know how delusional you have to be to think that you can go up and grab Zendaya's face like this? Everything in the world aside, she's a literal icon. Anybody who is at icon status, you do not grab their face. He thought that it was like, I'm gonna do this and people are gonna freak out. Yeah, we're gonna freak out because of how disrespectful that is. And that's the situation with Matt Rife. He made one very edgy joke that everybody that is in his fan base is like, I hate this. Now he's left with like 3% of his fans who just think he's so handsome, or I guess are, I can't even say that the Republicans are gonna like him. Because like the entire career that he's had before this is just embarrassing. Like the only thing that he had going for him was that people thought he was handsome and he would take off his belt on stage and people thought it was handsome. I'm saying handsome a lot, but here's the thing. When you're the bad boy of YouTube, you get to talk about handsome topics. And that's me, Film Cooper, the bad boy of YouTube. My thing is, if you say something stupid, fess up to it and don't like, just fess up to it. And the thesis of this whole thing is that I understand why Matt Rife did this. Not saying I understand, like, oh, I would do that too, but I'm saying the reason he did it is because he fundamentally does not respect women. Oh my God, the man in me that feels so, you know. But I do actually like believe that. It's just so funny to say that.
It's so funny.
You know, me being boy myself. But for real, he has such a chip on his shoulder about being only the handsome guy. Like he wants the respect of other stand-up comedians. And my perception is that people poke fun at him all the time. People rib him all the time. You only have to because you're handsome. He's so insecure of that he has to go, oh, you know what? All the people who are supporting me just because I'm handsome, how about I alienate all of them? Then the male stand-up comedians in the green rooms will think I'm cool. Hey buddy, they're not gonna think you're cool. They're gonna think you're a dumbass. Because you know what men respect above masculinity? Money. And you're gonna lose a lot of money because you lost a majority of your fan base. So these men whose respect you want are just gonna look at you like an idiot. Oh, like, hey, we were just making fun of you. By the way, if you can have a successful career just because you're handsome, just do that. But it is so white boy who thinks he has the sauce to have to go, no, I'm actually better than that. I'm actually everything. I'm everything everywhere all at once. Like the movie. But if he had just shut up and kept doing his thing, he would have had a long, successful, fruitful career. And I'm sure that he will have a career from here on out. Like obviously that's not gonna go away, but it's never gonna be what he could have been because he has an ego and he thinks that he needs everything. I just hope that every green room he's in for the rest of his life, he's looking like Oppenheimer at the end of that movie. All the other comedians in the green room laughing at him, making fun of him because he made the stupidest career move he could have ever made. Yeah, dude, you're only here because you're handsome. I didn't think that saying that would make you go, oh, everybody who's here because I'm handsome? Get out of here! Because the thing is, if you're only there because you're handsome, and then you throw away the people that are there for that, what you're left with is people who are there for your comedy. And remember, you're not there for your comedy. And I actually believe that. Anyways, so let me figure out some Oppenheimer thing joke here. Him talking to Dane Cook, I guess. Do you remember when I brought those calculations to you that said that if I made one domestic violence joke, it could set off a chain reaction that would bring about the end of my entire comedy career? Yeah, I remember it well. Frat beer. What of it? I believe it did.
It's so funny.
Or if I was Matt Rife, I would say with a black scent. But I don't want to do that. Anyways, long story short, L. Everybody, L Matt Rife, L Matt Rife. It'd be like if I came out now and was like, I actually think Andrew Tate's pretty awesome. Why would you do that? Okay, you proved now that you hate girls, but what does that make you? Leader of the treehouse? What am I talking about? Anyways, I love you so much. Please subscribe.
Because at the end of the day, he's just a guy. He's just a guy who gets a microphone and then walks around going, listen, everybody knows I've got this going on. But what you don't understand is, I don't like it either. Because I'm so, like, when I'm handsome, it's like, okay, so this guy's handsome? And it's like, okay, well, here I am and I'm handsome. So it's like, you know what I'm talking about? Because it's this.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm a dumbass.
Okay, so look, let's just knock this out the way because I just don't want to.
Go apply to be on the oil rigs. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not. But you said you were.
Oh my God. Oh, God damn.
Wow.
Piers loved that. He's like, wow, the girls are fighting. All right, you know who else I'm a fan of? The female Andrew Tate. Pearl Davis on why she thinks women shouldn't vote. Piers Morgan is back with yet another episode of Uncensored where he takes some of the worst people online to stand next to him to make himself look good in comparison. He is the GOAT at this. This is his bread and his butter, okay? He does this shit all the time. So here he is, back at it again.
Davis has racked up a legion of online followers and plenty of breathless newspaper coverage by sharing her incendiary views.
Sorry, I apologize. I said this is Piers Morgan's bread and butter, but instead I should have said this is Piers Morgan's tea and crumpets. Right.
Views on modern feminism. The New York Post called her the female Andrew Tate. So she tapped into genuine female pushback to the excesses of wokery, or is she just an attention seeker? We'll find out in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the clip that sent her viral.
A lot of people think I'm insane because I don't think women should vote. Everybody thinks I'm crazy for this opinion. If anything, this is probably my most extreme opinion. 90% of women have been on birth control. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. 1 out of 3 women has an STD. Average body count is over 5, so that your average wife has slept with over 5 people. 95% of women are not virgins on their wedding days. So I understand the complaint.
Okay, well, Pearl joins me now alongside political journalist Ava Santini, who was nodding furiously along there to everything she heard. Right, Pearl, you've been called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Of everything he says?
It depends what we're talking about, but overall, I think he's got a good message. I think he's good for young.
What don't you agree with that Andrew Tate says? That's awesome. They're so brave, dude. I gotta pee.
Okay, look, you're talking about women predominant, which is why you've got this big following. And your view is that modern feminism is deeply flawed. I would argue a lot of your proposals, like taking the vote away away from women are deeply regressive. Why would you want to remove just from yourself the right to vote?
Well, what happened was I had the same view, right? Back when I started, I was like, why? I found out that only 5% of women wanted the right to vote. And I couldn't figure out, like, why would women not? No, it's true. It's true. You look it up.
At the time?
At the time.
Because they've been conditioned by men to think that they shouldn't have a vote.
I mean, that's what they say, but, you know, I started reading their writings, right? And what I found out was that the reason a lot of women advocated for it was because they believed it was the beginning of the breakdown of the family. You know, before you became one in marriage, 85% of people were married. And, you know, I hate to say it, but they were right. What has happened 100 years later?
What's that got to do with them having the vote?
Well, it also goes back to responsibility. Again, men are 80 to 90% of the military. They run all of the infrastructures that make society run. So I just think if we want an equal say in society, then be equal. Do 50% of the hard job. Be 50% of the military. In the U.S., they're fined $250,000 if they don't join selective service, which is essentially the trap.
Okay, but specifically on the vote, what would having the right to vote have to do with family cohesion, for example?
Well, because again, before you weren't trying to divide a family. It was one family unit. You had one vote for the family. I mean, I don't think it's good for a family to have two votes.
Ava, your mouth seems to have dropped about 3 feet.
I know. It's just sort of a bit galaxy brain. I feel like, you know, the stats that you're putting down are perhaps correct in some universe.
Which stats?
They just kind of don't really add up. I mean, just to take you back to the women's writings that you've allegedly read. I mean,
allegedly? What do you mean allegedly?
At the time that you're talking about, you know, women weren't really allowed to write. They weren't allowed to go to school.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. That's incorrect. The first female property owner was in the 1600s. The idea that women couldn't work and couldn't.
I'm so sorry, but that would be inherited property.
The first female millionaire was in the late 1800s.
And was that inherited?
No, it wasn't. It was self-made. Yes, it was.
Self-made.
Yes, it was.
She never inherited land.
Yes, she did not inherit it.
What law permitted that? What law?
The irony of this, and I've repeated this before, I've mentioned it before, is that no self-respecting misogynist is gonna watch a woman say any of these things, okay?
Or permitted that?
Well, there was no law. I mean, there's always been women that were influential in history.
Let's get on to the vote. So what I don't understand is, you know, a part of your message, I've just, you know, researched you today, and hang on a minute.
Okay.
You know, your big push is that you care about men, and you don't think that men are getting enough of a say. But
well, I care about
hang
women
on,
too.
I haven't made the point yet. Because of feminism, okay? What I wonder is when you start making calls out like repeal the 19th, women shouldn't be allowed to vote, how is that helping young men? Because these young men have women in their lives, they have mothers, they have sisters, they have teachers, and they turn around, they don't know how to act around women because you're giving them license to be misogynistic.
I wouldn't call it misogynistic. I say be equal. So again, men do all of the
feminists are saying.
Well, then, okay, I'd love for the feminists, please apply for the oil rigs. Please go do the hard job.
This is such a easily addressed take that Ethan has done a great job addressing, as well as many others. But it's like, first of all, that's not the only fucking job. Secondly, a lot of these like menial labor tasks, just not the oil rigs, I guess, but plenty of others that don't go fucking viral on Twitter, like distribution facility jobs, right? They are taken by women. And not only that, but those jobs are not paid well. The oil rig jobs as well are not necessarily paid as well as they are supposed to be. It's very fucking stupid to constantly go, oh, women oil rig jobs. It's like, bro, what about the CEO jobs? You know what I mean? There is no physical labor there. Why is that also still heavily dominated by men? Shut the fuck up.
In society, they're open, they're hiring, because I don't equate I don't think men or women are equal until we do the equal work. So no, listen, go apply to be on the oil rigs, go be a plumber, go be an electrician, go be on the front lines of the military, and then we should have equal rights. But until feminists are willing to do that, I don't believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, well, I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not. You said you were a volleyball player, and so you've got.
Ooh, she said you fucking said you're big. Shut your big ass up. Go work at a fucking oil rig. God damn.
believe we should have the freedom without the responsibility.
Okay, but I don't think that I'm physically built for that. You might be, but I'm absolutely not.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, God damn.
Oh, you said you were a volleyball.
Wow.
You said you were a
Peers love that. He's like, wow, the girls are fighting.
volleyball player, and so you've got more strength than I do. I don't think
But
that
I don't have more strength. I don't have more strength than
But
the
I'm not
average
going to take your
man.
right away to do it.
I don't have more strength than the average man. But again, it goes back to go be a plumber. You want to be equal, go be equal.
You also, but you want divorce to be made illegal.
Yes.
Why?
Yes, because I don't think what we have today is really marriage. What is marriage? It's for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. That's what marriage is supposed to be. But feminists have ruined marriage for the people that actually believe in marriage.
How?
When there's a 50% divorce rate and the average.
This is so insane, dude. Yeah. Feminists have ruined marriage by allowing women to divorce is an ungodly bad take. Like, marriage is supposed to be between a man and his slave, okay? Marriage is supposed to be not between a man and a woman. Marriage is supposed to be between a man and his captive, clearly.
Why is that all down to the women, though?
I didn't say that it was all down to the women.
So why feminists
you asked why I want divorce to be banned.
Yeah.
Can I finish that first? So I'm saying, the people that believe in divorce, go be in long-term relationships. Leave marriage for the people that actually believe in for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
But doesn't the sanctity of marriage also rely on the woman being a virgin? So you wouldn't be able to get married.
Oh no. God, she is so bad. Will she get better at debating at a certain point, or will she just keep getting fucking obliterated?
What do you mean?
Well, you've spoken quite openly about how you're not a virgin, and so if you want to preserve that sanctity of marriage,
I
just think that you're upholding standards that you don't actually live by.
And that's a fair complaint. I wish I was, but we can't go back. I don't know what you want me to say.
But I just don't.
Oh God! So you don't want to fucking be married in if that's your ultimate goal in society, that you want to create a society where you can't get married? What the fuck? Oh Jesus, that's so ruthless. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Oh Lordy. Oh, that's messed up. Oh my God. Oh fuck. Oh, that was so good. Holy
I
fuck.
think it's fair that you get to be here and you get to be paid for your views, and you're telling other women that they shouldn't be allowed to.
I think.
Hang on. Okay, if I may, at some stage jump in. Isn't the whole point of being a feminist, though, that women are entitled to have their own views?
Absolutely. And
so she's perfectly entitled to her views.
Yeah, but you can't.
You might not like them.
But I'm here to challenge
Isn't she exercising her right as a... Are you a feminist?
No, I am not.
Really?
No, don't go that far.
You don't want to be a feminist?
God, Piers Morgan loves this shit. He's like, yes, keep going.
No, because I think if feminists really believed in equality, but you guys don't, I would love for you. There is an oil rig hiring. There is an engineering firm.
Why does she keep saying there's an oil rig hiring? Is that the only job that she thinks exists? Like, there are so many female-dominated sectors that are underrepresented, that don't get paid enough, whether it be teaching or, like, healthcare, for example. And she just keeps saying, like, oh, they're gonna go work in the oil rig. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
She'd love to see Ava Santana on an oil rig.
Seriously. There is a building being built next to my building. Go do it, feminists. Go do it. And me, I'm saying
the same job that I'm doing right now.
When you find the man you want to get married to, are you saying you will...
It's odd. Very odd position to defend over and over again. Like, the entire purpose of living in a society and living under the division of labor is so that, like, those who have better skills in that field work in those fields. I would never advocate against people who work at oil rigs getting paid fairly. I would never advocate against any worker getting paid fairly. But that's not usually what we're talking about when we're talking about, like, women in the workplace. The idea that, like, that your capabilities as an oil rigger has anything to do with whether or not you can vote or what your position in society is laughable. Okay, absolutely zero people give a fuck about these people that work in, like, menial tasks, menial labor intensive tasks. I don't know why she keeps bringing that up as a talking point when it has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Literally, you will be with that man whatever happens the rest of your life.
Yes, for the vows that we're supposed to live by.
How do you know you can keep?
I mean, I think it's a choice. And that's the thing, like women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
Ava, I've got to say, it's a little bit listening to Andrew Tate, where some of it I really don't agree with. I don't agree with the vote stuff. When I hear things like that, I think there'll be a lot of people, especially older generation women perhaps, who think, you know what, she's got a point.
Well, I mean, I believe in agency, so I think that if a woman is going to look after her children in divorce, that's absolutely fine. I also believe in your right to speak your mind about it. What I don't understand,
I'd like to say, even before the 1920s,
do you know what I mean?
women could speak openly. This idea that like women couldn't talk the last 500 years, there have been women.
Dude, what the fuck is she saying? Like, women had it so much better when they had zero autonomy is an incredible take. I love that. Yeah.
You know, the American state.
Fuck it, just make shit up. Who's gonna fact check you?
Do you know what I don't understand though is when it gets spiteful, okay? Because you put down a few arguments that I think are perfectly, like, you know, they're kind of evangelical and they're Christian, but those are your right to say it. What I don't understand is when it kind of seeps into this sort of, you call women fat, you say that they shouldn't have abortions, you say that they have STDs. You know,
I mean, the question is, are they fat? Yes or no? The average American woman is 170 pounds. That's objectively overweight.
I mean, let's be honest. We now celebrate morbid obesity as some kind of body positive thing, and it is complete nonsense. So actually, on that point again, there's a bit of truth in
and
that.
This is the problem.
How have we come to celebrate morbid obesity as body positive?
Well,
it's nonsense.
We're not talking about morbid obese. I was actually watching your podcast earlier, and you spoke to someone who was, I would say, probably a size 12, and you called her fat, obese, and a divorcee.
She was fat, obese, and a divorcee.
I
mean, like, I don't know what to say. This is the thing, women, we don't want to live in reality. We don't want to say things that are true. Was she fat? Yes. Was she a divorcee? Yes. These things are just objective facts.
I'm going to be talking about Whale Attack Part 2 for talking about whales. And you're still a whale. Like, I can't.
See, here's the thing. When you like shit on women and reinforce, okay, this is additionally hilarious coming from her, because when you shit on women and reinforce the objectification of women, you open yourself up to a lot of that same exact criticism, because this is the same TERF strategy. TERFs love talking about like the beauty standard for women and how like trans women aren't women, but like, you know, you see it. You see the TERF conferences when they get together. These are TERFs. These are lesbian TERFs. I think the only kind of beauty pageant that they should allow is the TERF beauty pageant, specifically so that we can see how rotten they are both on the inside and out, okay? That's what happens when you build a entire brand of just hating trans people, okay? You just become this. What are you doing? You would live in a safer world if you just let go of this like weird standard that you yourself do not fit in, okay? You know, it's crazy. It's like Ben Shapiro being like, well, there's rigid male body standards, actually. Everyone fits by them, except for me, Ben Shapiro. Last time I tried to draw a beard on my face, it failed spectacularly.
I said, name one girl that looked good at 300 pounds. On TikTok, a clip was taken of me. It was a bit out of context. You know, sometimes maybe I make fun of them a little. I don't really mind being made fun of. I feel like it's part of the game. I feel like okay.
I mean, I don't know about 300-pound women looking good. There are plenty of thick mommies out there, but I don't know how much she weighs, but she still ain't looking good. You know what I mean? So clearly it's not just the weight. Okay, I'm just saying, dude, listen, don't do it. Whatever pound you are right now, clearly there's more to it than how much you weigh. Okay,
I'm going to have to objectively...
And she insulted me first.
I'm going to have to objectively end the debate, but it was an interesting conversation. I think we should get you two back together as a matter of urgency. Thank you very much, Pearl. Thank you, Ava.
Ethan Klein went harder on her, goddamn. Yeah, of course Ethan Klein went harder on her.
I'm analyzing your viability by your own metrics, which you do all day to other women and men.
Yeah.
Why is that disingenuous?
Ooh, this is fucking good, dude.
Okay.
What the fuck? I've never seen someone...
Like, I think it's fair to say, because you were talking to women about expectations and men about expectations.
This doesn't violate the debates of... this doesn't violate the rules of a debate. This violates the rules of, like, normal human interaction. She's behaving in a manner that is inconsistent with how human beings would react.
I don't know what you want me to say.
In a normal conversation.
I was a virgin. You know, I should have waited.
No. But how are you going to settle for a low-value man? Because, like, that, it's like, dude, come on.
a low value man.
A low value man.
I think if you get married, you're lucky to get married. That's my opinion.
Okay.
So, if I was married, I would feel.
So
lucky
you'll
to be
take
married.
anything.
Alright, so it's the same issues as before, where I have to fucking unsummon one of them and resummon it. What a pain in my ass. Wait, no hero killed? What the fuck? Okay, in that case, I feel like no hero killed. As much as I love this motherfucker, I'm gonna have to replace him with a bitch that take the heat. Okay.
Hi, friends. How are you today? My name is Bailey Sarian, and today is Monday, which means it's Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday. Okay. Hi, if you are new here. Hi again. My name is Bailey Sarian, and on Mondays I sit down and I talk about a true crime story that's been heavy on my noggin, and I do my makeup at the same time. You know, to keep my hands busy. If you're interested in true crime and you like makeup, I would say subscribe because I'm here for you on Mondays, huh? So earlier today, I went to the dentist and they put those goofy little goggles on me to clean my teeth, you know? And there's a line right here on my forehead. I don't know if you can see it, but if you do see it, It's from the goofy goggles that they made me wear to clean my teeth. I was like, but you don't understand. I have to film a video. Just kidding. But it's bugging me. Anyway, so it's there. So today's story is definitely one that's been heavy on my noggin because, I mean, geez, this story is so weird. So weird. Oh my God. Has kept me up so many nights because it's like you're trying to piece it all together to make it make sense. And none of it makes sense. So I should do some makeup. If you're ever curious to know what I'm using, I'll list it in the description box down below. But other than that, I will shut up and tell you about today's story. So, takes place December 2nd, 2010 in the heart of Melbourne, Australia. So this story takes place at the Valencia Apartments. You know, they stand tall. They're a luxury high-rise that promises like safety and sophistication. But something unthinkable happens. Phoebe Handstuck, a 24-year-old woman, is found dead at the bottom of a garbage chute. Yes, you heard that right. A garbage chute. Now, it appeared she had fallen through the garbage disposal chute from the 12th floor where Phoebe had shared an apartment with her boyfriend. I know, already weird. Though the police had ruled her death as a suicide and the coroner had determined her death was a freak accident, many did not accept this as her cause of death. No. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's rewind and get to know Phoebe a little bit. Phoebe sounded like a wonderful person. She was born May 9th, 1986 in Melbourne, Australia, to her mother, Natalie, and her father, Len. Len was a psychiatrist, and for a long time, he had been a psychiatrist for like 40 years now. She had two younger brothers named Nikolai and Tom, yes, and the family lived in Richmond, which was like a suburb of Melbourne. Now, growing up, it was said that Phoebe was known to be a free spirit, a wild child. She had a really active imagination. She loved being active herself, like going outside in nature or going to the ocean. She was also an avid climber and a martial artist. I know, she's doing a lot. On top of all of this, she was artistically gifted and very creative. In school, she was very popular. She loved socializing. She liked being around her peers, and people just overall really seemed to like her. She played on like a basketball team with some of her friends, and she was very competitive. She was really good too. She would like zip from one side of the court to the other, and like she was unstoppable on the court. It was also said that Phoebe was quite cheeky and playful, and she had like a really funny sense of humor. But on the other hand, she could be extremely sensitive, compassionate, and also quick-tempered. Phoebe was known to like feel things pretty deeply. I was trying to think, like, what do you call that? I think an empath, right? I think she would like feel deeply, okay? And I think a lot of the times when you are a person like that who just feels a lot, it can lead to depression, you know? So Phoebe, she really struggled with that too. It just seemed like Phoebe had a lot of emotions, as we all do, but you know, she felt a lot. Well, when Phoebe became a teenager, things got a little funky, as they do with like, you know, a lot of teenagers. They go through that phase. She started experimenting with drugs and alcohol at 15. And, you know, to her parents, it was very troubling. She was acting out. It wasn't good. At one point, I guess she had like run away from home.
Come
And she
on.
went to go live with this guy. Unsure how they met and stuff, so it doesn't matter. But she went to go live with this guy. He was like an ex-convict. And he was living with his kid, and she went to go live with him for like 8 weeks. Teenagers. Again, not sure how she met this guy, but like that happened. I guess eventually she came home, and then she got onto some antidepressants in hopes just to get her back on track and whatnot.
I got distracted.
She did. She seemed to get back on track. But then not long after, she met another guy. This guy was like twice her age and worked as a teacher. And I guess they started dating for a while. Ugh. But still, regardless, I mean, she was very protective of her family. She loved her brothers. And she had a very special and close relationship with her grandmother. And I guess like she would confide in her grandmother pretty often. Well, despite like these rocky years, Phoebe, you know, she still had like bigger plans for her future. goals in life. Like one of her goals was to travel and go to India and like do aid work. So life carried on, you know, and Phoebe, when she was 23 years old, she got a job working as a receptionist at Lindley Godfrey Hair Salon in South Yarra. While she was there, she was working there, you know, and like that's where she met 39-year-old Anthony Hampel. Everyone called him Ant for short, so I'm gonna call him Ant. He worked as like an events promoter, and he worked with like a lot of celebrity clientele, people who had money, you know what I'm saying? He could like, he would come into the hair salon and get his hair done, and that's how he met Phoebe. Many people said or thought that Ant was quite handsome, and he had come from like a really good family. His dad was a Supreme Court judge. Oh yes. His name was George Hampel, and his stepmom was a county court judge. Not good, but we'll get into it. Anyways, she was named Felicity Hampel. Well, Phoebe and Ant, they meet each other, they hit it off, and they decide to start dating. And the two of them end up dating for like 5 months, and then they decide to move in together. Phoebe moves into his place, his apartment.
Fucking hell.
It's on St. Kilda Road.
She still died.
In October of 2009. So again, this was in that like luxury apartment. It was on the 12th floor. Luxury apartment building called Valencia. It's a nice apartment building, big windows, beautiful views, lots of fancy amenities. It was money. So just like this, like on the surface, seemed like this glamorous, cute couple. It's like beauty and business, just living this fancy life. But you and I both know that it's never like that, is it, huh? Appearances are always deceiving. So it was said that, especially during this time, but Phoebe had an on-again, off-again relationship with alcohol. And at this time, she was drinking a lot. I guess Ant and Phoebe had a pretty rocky relationship. They would break up, they would get back together, break up, repeat, you know? She started seeing a psychiatrist, or she was seeing a psychiatrist, but Phoebe would tell her psychiatrist lots of things about her relationship with Ant, like that he was verbally abusive, that he was aggressive, and mainly that she was upset in the relationship. It was said that her psychiatrist later like kind of testified or whatever, but she said that like she was working with Phoebe to like get out of this relationship or help her see that she needed to get out of this relationship, like it wasn't good for her, but Phoebe would always end up kind of going back. Phoebe had left Ant like 4 different times.
Okay,